AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal.
Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. A really busy period right now for Arsenal. So many games in so many different competitions. In fact, 4 different competitions, 4 away games. That's what Arsenal face. Of course, today, the FA Cup away at Portsmouth. They go away to Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, away to Nottingham Forest in the Premier League, then away to Inter Milan in the Champions League. So you have to nowadays have a big squad, and it can't just be a big squad with loads of fillers. It has to be quality players that come in each position. You literally got to have 2 top quality players in each position if you're going to be doing what Arsenal are doing and any of the teams sort of in the top 4, top 6, where you're playing in multiple competitions and the emphasis is on trying to win all of those competitions. Because if you don't, you're going to have to sacrifice some of those by putting in ultra weak squads, and you know you can suffer a defeat. We saw it and we've seen it this season with Crystal Palace. Palace have been suffering recently in the league because they didn't invest in their squad in the summer. Remember, their manager, Oliver Glasner, came out as very critical of their board for not doing so. And we saw it yesterday in the FA Cup. Crystal Palace suffered a really humiliating defeat, beaten by Macclesfield, who like are at the bottom of the tree, literally, when it comes to the football pyramid, beating the team that were the FA Cup holders. A really embarrassing defeat. And at the end of the game, Marc Guéhi, who's the captain of Palace, was having to sort of explain to some of the angry fans who travelled all that way in that freezing cold why that performance was so poor. Now, the question is, how is this going to affect Marc Guéhi and affect Crystal Palace around Marc Guéhi? I mean, Crystal Palace, we know, would like to sell Marc Guéhi this January transfer window. And the reason why is because they want to cash in on him, because he can walk away for free in the summer. But can they sell him now after that humiliating defeat? The fans are really going to be angry about it. They're going to be upset about it. They're going to say, listen, the only thing we can win this season now is the Conference League, which we're still in, and we need Marc Guéhi to stay. It'll be a very unpopular decision by Crystal Palace now to let him leave, even though the fans would understand the financial side. But after going out of the FA Cup in that humiliating fashion, that puts pressure on the board. Will Marc Guéhi look on it and say, well, Roy, maybe it's time to get out of it? You know what I mean? Because of what's just happened after suffering that humiliating defeat. We know that Arsenal really, really want him, but they want to wait until the summer. They don't want to make a move now. They want to wait until the summer to get that deal done. If push comes to shove, they may make a move for him this January transfer window. City are ready to make a move right now. Liverpool possibly, but again, another team that want to wait till the summer. This is a real interesting situation, and this is going to be the biggest story, I feel, of the January transfer window as to where does Marc Guéhi end up going? Does he leave? Does he stay? And yesterday's result has just put a different dynamic on the whole situation. What about this one? Igor Tyjon. We've spoken about this many a times now since the start of the January transfer window. The Blackburn youngster, striker who Arsenal were trying to sign in the summer. Didn't get him. Lots of reports saying that he's on his way to Arsenal this January transfer window. He's refused to sign a new deal with Blackburn. However, Manchester United now really hot on the tails of Igor Tyjon as well, and trying to hijack Arsenal's move to get this deal done. Listen, they've already nicked Chido off of us. Remember, Chido Obi, he went to Man United instead of signing a new deal at Arsenal. Aiden Heaven, who that's starting to look like a proper move, for a good move for him, because he is playing regular football at Manchester United. But remember, Aiden Heaven, they got away from Arsenal for just over £1 million. Now they're trying to hijack this move for Igor Tyjon. It's going to be really interesting to see what this youngster decides to do. As I said, he plays in Blackburn, so obviously he lives in the northwest of England where Manchester is. But will he fancy coming down south and playing for Arsenal? This is going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on this January transfer window. Now, according to the Spanish publication El Nacional, they're claiming that Arsenal are looking to go back in to try and get long-term target Nico Williams from Athletic Bilbao. Now, we know that Mikel Arteta, massive admirer of Nico Williams. Last couple of transfer windows, Arsenal have been really interested in getting this signing done, but have never been able to do it. Last summer, it was looking that he could be on his way to Barcelona. It all fell through, and Athletic Bilbao managed to keep him and sign him onto a mega contract, long-term contract on big money, and have locked him down. However, it's not going great this season so far for Athletic Bilbao. They're said to be in debt. They said, you know, their league position is not great at the moment. Listen, it can still improve, but they're in 8th place. Really need to make sure they get into Europe. They haven't been doing very well in the Champions League. And El Nacional saying that Arsenal may capitalise on the situation by going back in to try and get Nico Williams. He's been having an okay season so far, 3 goals, 3 assists. But he's still a very young player, very ambitious player. You know, he'll be in that Spanish team for the World Cup, which will be one of the favourites to win it. So will Arsenal make a move for Nico Williams? I think it's out of the question that this could get done this January transfer window. But it could be a deal that Arsenal revisit in the summer. The problem's going to be with this one is that the guy's on big wages now at Athletic Bilbao, said to be on about nearly 300 grand a week. That's the same sort of money Saka's on. His representatives apparently saying that, you know, for him to move, he'd want more, up to 400. He ain't worth that. He hasn't done enough yet to justify that sort of, you know, fee. I don't know. He could have a great World Cup and maybe then, you know, maybe then that seems realistic. But right now, that would be completely unrealistic. But El Nacional saying that Arsenal looking to capitalise on the financial situation at Athletic Bilbao to try and get a deal done. Of course, we've got left wingers already. They've been doing all right this season. One of them is Gabriel Martinelli. But a story that's been going around today, primarily when I look at the links to this, seems to be coming from the ITK India Kalia, who, you know, lots of rumours come out from him. Some people argue not always the most accurate, but he's saying that he's heard that Martinelli's instructed his representatives to look around for a different club next season. Who knows if this is true or not? Another story that I saw as well is that Liverpool inquired about trying to get Gabriel Martinelli on loan after Alexander Isak's injury. And that story was saying that Martinelli wasn't against that loan move. Martinelli trying to get himself into that Brazilian squad for the World Cup over there in America and Canada and Mexico. He's in the squad. He's kind of on the fringes, but he really wants to cement his place with regular football ahead of the World Cup. And they were saying that he weren't fully against the loan move. That, again, is another rumor. However, what we do know, well, even according to this story, they're saying that Arsenal immediately said no chance and Martinelli's not going anywhere. We know that Mikel Arteta loves Gabriel Martinelli, and Arsenal have absolutely no intention of selling him at all right now. When the summer comes, who knows? Who knows? We know that Arsenal are looking at that left wing position. They were interested in Antoine Semenyo. We saw that David Ornstein even said, listen, they're interested in Antoine Semenyo, but didn't want to make any moves until the summer. So you never know. Summertime, things could change. His contract, I note as well, is only until 2027. So they're even going to have to renew this contract or look about the possibility of selling Martinelli. He's a very popular player in this team, and I think he's been having a good season, especially in the Champions League. 5 goals in the Champions League this season. Martinelli being linked with a move, but I think, again, absolutely no chance of him going anywhere this January transfer window. Max Dowman, of course, our exciting youngster. We haven't seen him for a little while because he's been injured, unfortunately. Said to be back very soon. Still only, well, he was 15. He's now 16. He was 16 on New Year's Eve. Now, Arsenal have apparently reached an agreement with Max Dowman to sign his scholarship deal. Remember, there was a lot of teams right across Europe trying to get Max Dowman out of Arsenal. But Max Dowman is staying and he's on the verge of signing his new scholarship deal. And then once he becomes 17, he'll be able to do his pre-contract for his first professional contract at Arsenal. Obviously, a jewel in the crown for Arsenal, and they are looking to tie him down to a long contract once they can do so under Premier League rules. But Max Dowman staying at Arsenal. And talking of contracts, so I spoke yesterday about Saka's new contract. Arsenal, as I said on yesterday's show, looking to do a new contract for Declan Rice. They're also looking to do one for Jurrien Timber, Kai Havertz, David Raya, and Mikel Merino. They want to get all of these players tied down to new contracts, and certainly moving in the right direction with getting all of those done. So those are the transfer rumours for today. Busy period of games for Arsenal. Critical period as well. Some really important games coming up, including that Carabao Cup game semi-final. So squad's got to be good, and let's hope we can get some players back as well. Thanks for watching the show, and I'll see you tomorrow.